Alchemy of Souls is back, and we're here to give you the scoop on how this story continues to unfold. If you're new to the channel, we're huge fans of K-dramas and K-pop, so consider subscribing to keep up on all the best K-dramas and K-pop reactions. Episode 1 and 2 brought with it a lot of revelations that have both confirmed and upended our theories going into the series, all at the same time. Part 2 takes place 3 years after the events of Part 1. As Mudok entered Lake Gyeongcheon-daeo, the priestesses of Buyeon extracted her petrified body, which is the scene we saw at the end of Part 1. Jin Ho-gyeong continues her erratic behavior by consulting Master Lee on how to retrieve Buyeon's soul. Master Lee reveals that the body was housing both Naksu and Buyeon's souls, which confirms our previous theories, but the next revelation would completely upend our theory about Mudok's body. Master Lee presents Jin Ho-gyeong with an ultimatum. The only way to save the body would be to purge Buyeon's soul within it using Naksu's energy. Again, with the erratic decisions, Jin Ho-gyeong agrees to this all in order to preserve her daughter Buyeon's body and blood. The trade-off comes in the form of Naksu's energy taking full control of the body. As the petrification recedes, the body takes the form of Naksu's features, including her face. Ho-gyeong immediately regrets the decision, but must deal with her daughter's body looking like Naksu now. This would also rectify the change in actress, as we now have Naksu's face and memories inside Buyeon's body.
After 3 years, Janguk has become the most powerful man in Daeho. Using the ice stone sealed within him, he hunts soul shifters and has reached Hwonsu. But this also comes with a trade-off, as Janguk is perpetually haunted by wraiths, as he continues to hunt soul shifters using Naksu's sword and the power of the ice stone. This makes the space around him feel like a cold snap, and the mages around him avoid him. The story comes to a head, and is propelled forward when Janguk is hunting a soul shifter and inadvertently meets Jin Buyeon, or Naksu, confined to her quarters by Jin Ho-gyeong. Of course, Janguk has never seen Naksu's face, so he does not recognize her. Naksu similarly has lost her memories, so she too does not recognize Janguk. In what seems to be a complete 180 in storytelling, Janguk and Naksu yet again need each other. Much like their first encounter in Part 1, Janguk needs Naksu, only this time is to take away his power instead of unsealing it. Naksu in the body of Buyeon unknowingly needs Janguk to regain her memories and her powers like in Part 1. But this time, Buyeon's divine powers. As the two cross paths over and over again, Janguk determines he needs Buyeon's divine power to remove the ice stone, and in order to do that, he must marry her. Upon testing her divine power, Janguk realizes she doesn't have them. And there are several mysterious bad actors at play here that are after Janguk's ice stone, and Jinmu continues to be an ambitious rat.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Alchemy of Souls video, part 2.
AOS is back!
So a lot of things happened in the first 2 episodes. A lot of our theories confirmed, and a lot of our theories were wrong.
Yep.
Nothing to do with Naksu's body being kept. If it wasn't clear in the introduction of this video, Mudok hopped into Lake Gyeongcheon-daeo, petrified.
Yes.
And it turned out the people that retrieved her were Jinyeon priestesses.
Yes.
Jin Ho-gyeong had her body, her petrified body, but in order to save the body, they had to purge Buyeon's soul using Naksu's energy.
Yes.
And that turned Mudok into Naksu now, and that explains how she looks the way she does and how no one recognizes her that met her before.
Yeah, so it's still Buyeon's body, but her soul had to be purged in order for the body and the blood to survive. The powers of Buyeon are still in that body, but now the host or the soul is Naksu. So that's kind of like the simplification of it, the way I'm understanding it, and hopefully it doesn't create any more confusion, because well, all our theories were completely wrong up to this point.
Yeah, and it seems like it seems like the shadow part of it also wasn't really Janguk kind of going down an evil or dark path, but rather the ice stone haunts him, because it's like the power can't be controlled.
It's a shadowy path.
Yeah.
It's like the burden of the ice stone has these wraiths and ghosts, and like they haunt him. Just having the ice stone on its own, like within him, he can't take it out. It's like it's stuck. He's stuck with it, and so that's kind of like the shadow part of this. And the light has to be Naksu, because she's, I mean, not from a physical, well, of course from a physical,
all Naksu at this
from a physical
point
sense, like all of her clothing, like just the way she's all lit up, it's all light and airy. The thing that I find most interesting here is like there's so much similarities with the way this Naksu behaves and the way Mudok behaved in Part 1.
Yeah, I think it's still essentially the same person.
It's still Naksu,
because
yes.
Janguk fell in love with Naksu in Mudok or Buyeon's body.
Right.
And so now it is Buyeon's body with Naksu inside still, but with Naksu's face and features. And so it's a weird kind of like switcheroo that happened between the two. But again, Jungkook hasn't met the real Naksu.
Yeah.
So therefore, she is unrecognizable to him.
But it's all starting out the same way as part 1 though. It's like it's just like they're like bickering against each other, and then it's gonna be Soyeol, then it's gonna be the rest of the cast and crew, the rest of the characters.
The cameramen are gonna be part of it too.
They're going to slowly fall in love with Naksu just the way she behaves. And it's gonna all feel like it's familiar to them, and that's how the story is unfolding so far.
Yeah, and I mentioned in the beginning of this video how it's so weird how they can make essentially the same story hype again, because I was glued to the TV. I was so hyped when Jungkook returned and interrupted the Unified Assembly. But
that was fantastic.
But essentially, in part 1, Jungkook had his gates sealed and wanted them unsealed. So he made a deal with Naksu. I will unseal your gates or your seals if you help me regain my powers. This time around, he wants his powers taken away because they haunt him.
Yep.
And Naksu doesn't necessarily know it because she's lost her memories.
Yeah.
But she still wants to get powers back. This time it's Buyeon's divine powers.
Right. So that she's no longer the stealthy assassin, but now she's kind of Naksuyun.
Yeah. I want to talk about just a little briefly Jin Hook-young's erratic behavior, because it seems like she's ready to just suffer and make everyone else suffer, just for the sake of keeping the concept or the idea of Buyeon alive, confining her to her quarters for 3 years and kind of like injecting her with like tracker threads and stuff like that. I don't know, man. It seems problematic.
It's pretty consistent from part 1. Like Jin Hook-young is just like has lost her ways just because she was so desperate to get Buyeon back. Now that she has her back, like she's still crazy. First of all, she doesn't look like Buyeon.
Yeah.
And she is the assassin, and there's only a few people, including Jinmoo, that have met, and Park Jin has met Naksu, and so like,
this is true.
What if he sees her too? So like, now that the secret is out, there's gonna be a lot of things that's gonna happen where like a lot of old memories are gonna resurface. Is like, that is not Jin Buyeon, that is Naksu, and then a whole bunch of misunderstanding again.
There might be some kind of like reckoning that happens when everyone just realizes, you know, oh, was this Modok the whole time? Or like, was Buyeon Naksu, and now is Naksu Buyeon? Like this part 2 is Naksu having to be discovered inside Buyeon's body, whereas it was Buyeon inside of Buyeon's body, but Naksu was the personality.
Yeah, all of this really kind of started with Jin Hook-young though, like from the stillbirth child that was resurrected from the Ice Stone, and all of a sudden, all coming down to this one with Buyeon being resurrected through Naksu's body. She's kind of like at the heart of everything because Jangang is gone. Right. She's the only one left to blame.
Now, what does Jinmoo have to do with all of this? Like, he obviously recognizes Naksu because he made her the silent assassin, but he's got some like very devilish grins at the end of the episode that makes me wonder what he's up to now. I mean, obviously the Choi shaman is gone. That whole part of the story is kind of over. Right. Jinmoo is still planning nefarious things, and I think Park Jin, whatever he finds out, he's not gonna really care. He just really wants people. He just wants to make meju with red beans instead of soybeans.
He's as dense as ever.
I mean, so as we stated, you know, Jungkook and Naksu meet each other several times, and it ends up that Naksu, or Buyeon, is to be married off to Yuno, or Soyeol's uncle, Yuno. And in the midst of all of this, Jungkook realizes he needs her divine powers. If she's as powerful as Solran, he needs her to remove the Ice Stone, and so he kidnaps her. Takes her away from the wedding. No, he's testing her for divine powers and the lantern. She's not able to put it out, and so, you know, they have a falling out, and she leaves. Enter the Unified Assembly, where she has to be announced as the heir to Jin Yo-won. And Jungkook realizes that the lantern has been off.
Yeah, I think that's amazing because it's like, it's like powers that are slowly being reawakened, but she has no way she doesn't know how to control it, right? But it's there. And so like when she's in like high emotional state, when she was crying, when she was walking away, the lantern turns off. And now when she touches it, the lantern turns off. And so like that is something to look forward to. I'm so excited what's gonna happen. Like, how is she gonna wake up? What's gonna happen? Is Janguk they're gonna fall back in love?
What's Go-on gonna do about all of this?
I mean, they're all gonna fall in love with her all over again. Doki Doki style.
Absolutely. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you like the story as it continues thus far? I'm all in. I mean, I realize how similar it is to part 1 in terms of the story and narrative, but for some reason, again, I say it's very, very, they have a good way of pulling you in.
Yeah, and we almost forgot about like that water demon or something like that.
That was the mysterious bad actor.
Did that bad actor, like, was that like did Janguk get rid of that, or it's still around? So we're not sure yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking that he got rid of it, but it's kind of like a small part of a bigger thing.
Right.
That's out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of soul shifters out there, and I want to know, it can't be just Jinmu who's going to be the big bad villain. There's got to be something else.
Yeah, they got to be a little bit more original than that. I mean, if it ends up like sharing the same story structure as part 1, and then like the end goal or the end game is still part 1 with Jinmu, then we're gonna have a little bit of a problem here. So we'll see what they do.
We'll see.
Again, let us know in the comment section what you think about episodes 1 and 2 and where you think the story is gonna go. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos like it. As always, hit the bell icon to turn on notifications, and this is what we're watching this Sunday. We'll see you guys in the next one.